How's things going with the team ahead of the big test on Sunday?
Yeah, obviously great excitement heading into Sunday afternoon's game. ACC opponent coming in here 1-0 in the ACC after their big home win against Wake Forest. A whiteout for all the fans. It's just an exciting time. This first week of college basketball has changed dramatically over the last 6 or 7 years, and we're glad to kind of be the end of that first week with a really big game on Sunday.
You talked about the whiteout on Sunday. You had a great crowd the other night. How much can that help having another great crowd for this one?
Yeah, it's big for us. It's one of the things that we want to build is a great home court advantage, and the fans and our students have a big role to play in that. And our job is to go out there and compete and play well, and so you keep bringing them back. We're also having a lot of our alumni coming back for this game, a lot of our former players and their families. Something, again, that's really important in our program is to make sure that the guys who came before us know that they're part of our process right now, too, in terms of building a program of excellence. And that we've got really warm embrace from those guys, and they've been critical. They come by practice, and to get them to a Sunday afternoon game like this with their families now being part of it is going to be something special.
Coach, when you watched the video of the Pine Bluff game, did you see anything that maybe surprised you that you didn't talk about post-game?
Well, yeah. I think the first thing was, offensively, we didn't shoot the ball well, but we showed a lot more maturity than you usually show in your first game in terms of moving the ball, sharing the ball, working to get a good shot. Sometimes when you face a zone early in the year with a team that you're up on and all that, you start seeing a lot of threes being jacked up there without quality offense, and we didn't do that. I thought our defensive intensity off the ball was really good. Our anticipation and being in the right place at the right time was really good. So a lot more positives that came out of that as you watch the film. Because what ends up happening, I'm human just like you guys. When the ball doesn't go through the basket, sometimes you just don't think you're doing things well. But we did, and that's, we have to control the things that we can control, and defending and rebounding and creating good shots is some of those things.
I know you mentioned Boston College going 1-0 in the ACC with that win over Wake. I mean, conference games in November is kind of a little bit of a strange concept. Does that kind of give you guys an edge, considering that they may have shown a little bit more?
They don't have all their stuff in right now either, and neither do we, and that progresses during the year. So it's a little different when you play a conference game like that. I think both teams were in the same boat. You're starting to see other leagues go to that more, some November games, December games, just to try to get the fan involvement and the quality of game up there a little bit, especially at home, because so many teams, like a lot of our quality games, are on neutral court sites or in tournaments and so forth. So it's an interesting concept that more and more leagues are going to, especially leagues that are now going with 20 games. It's hard to get those 20 games in January and February, and then maybe that first weekend of March. So I think that you're going to see more and more of that.
You and your staff take a very business-like approach to each game. What do you tell a freshman going into his first game? Do you give him some advice, or do you send them to the scorer's table and tell them to do their job?
Well, yeah, obviously they know that the number one thing to do is to do their job. The other thing is you can't have your entire career in the first 2-minute stretch that you're out there, and guys' hearts are racing and so forth. But I thought, when our new guys came in, and I include Zach Dawson in that. He hasn't played in a couple years. For him to go in there and not force anything, not make, try to make the heroic play, just make the safe, solid play, because that's when we're at our best. When we keep hitting the next open man, we break down the defense with ball reversal. Now you get your defense stretched and driving lines open up, and now we play off that drive. And I thought BJ, I thought Jameer when he went in there, and I thought obviously Zach did a really good job of that.
You got one game in with the new three-point line. How do you feel stretching the floor defensively, especially when you're a little concerned about defensively?
Yeah. So we shot 33% from the three, and we missed some good looks. We'd like to shoot better, but remember that equates to shooting 50% from the two. You know, I'm no math magic man, but that's a pretty good percentage. But we want to shoot better than that. I think you're going to see it some. I think on the defensive end, what you're going to start seeing is some guys playing more heavy in the gaps off the ball, because the players now are 3 feet behind the current three-point line, and they're going to have to show that they can make that shot. You know, because if you chart the threes that you take, very rarely do you take threes right on the line. Usually it's 2 or 3 feet behind. So that's where the difference is in terms of the percentage, and I think that's where you're going to see some differences in the defense. We've had some clips that we've shown in our film sessions on us in practice where we tell the help defender, you can be much more heavy in the help because your man is out of the scoring area. You know, and he's only 3 feet behind the three, but that percentage shot is going to be 10 to 15 percentage points less than if he was right on the three. And that's where I think you're going to start seeing some changing in some concepts defensively.
Going along those lines with the new three-point line, what have you seen between the exhibition games, your scrimmages, and Tuesday night about the court spacing and how your team and opponents have, you know, handled that?
Well, I think it's just a trend. Everything trickles down. You know, one of the best power forward / centers in the NBA is 6'6" Draymond Green. You know, so I laugh sometimes in the recruiting and with players. Well, I'm a this, I'm a that. No, the next level, you better be a good player, and then they figure out where they play you. You know what I mean? And so spacing is so important in the NBA, and now you're starting to see it more in college. But then you also go back to there were big guys, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", that could stretch and make the three. Are they going to be able to make the three at this new line? And will you be guarding them 3 feet behind the new line? Or will you be able to pack it in a little bit more and count on a good closeout and recovery on those guys, where maybe now they need to shoot it a little faster? But the pace of games and the space of games has changed dramatically over the last 4 or 5 years.
What's Boston College shown you on film this week going through your preparation?
Well, one, they have one of the best big guys in the ACC in Popovich. Multi-dimensional big that can score off the dribble, score from the three, score in the post, and he's dynamic with the ball in his hands in terms of how they use him as almost a point center in a lot of their stuff. In terms of Thornton at the point guard, you know, a top 25 player in the country coming out of high school, left his senior year on the table in high school to go play at Duke, and played a lot as a should-be senior, now a freshman at Duke. And then he started every game he was at when he was at USC. So he's kind of got a new lease on life. You got to remember, Boston College system has produced 3 straight years of guards going into the draft and getting drafted early. So it's a great system for that. And the freshman Heath had a great game against Wake Forest. I saw him play a lot on the AAU circuit. He's going to be a dynamic player for them. There's no question about it. And the thing that makes him good now is, yeah, the Hamilton brothers that are very aggressive offensively, very athletic, can make plays. Mitchell plays the 4-man, and he's their best assist guy. He was 2 to 1 in terms of assist to turnovers. He is a playmaking power forward. So it's just a different system, and they put guys in position that they can be very, very successful. And the biggest change is they're much better defensively already. You can see it in the game the other night. Their pressure, their switching, their coverages was very, very effective against Wake Forest. Wake Forest never got into a rhythm offensively in that game.
Great.
All good?